The NFL and the NBA are my two favorite sports leagues. They're the sports leagues that got me into sports as a whole, and in the long run even influenced me to make this YouTube channel. I have spent countless hours not only watching NBA and NFL games, but listening to podcasts, radio shows, highlight reels. The amount of time I've spent looking at these two leagues is honestly kind of scary. But that being said, when you watch a lot of both these leagues, you do tend to notice some similarities between how both leagues are played and within some of the players. So I thought it'd be a very interesting video idea to see some NBA comparisons from NBA players and NFL players that follow a very similar and near identical career path, play style, etc. Once again, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, comment any other video suggestions, and let's take a dive and see which NBA players and NFL players closely resemble each other the most. Now, as our first comparison, this is actually a very clear comparison in my opinion, and a very modern comparison. We have Stephen Curry and Patrick Mahomes. To begin looking at these player similarities, let's just talk about the play style. Both players have the flashiest play style in the league at their position. Stephen Curry wows audiences with his out-of-worldly three-point talent, his dribbling, his layup package. Just a really talented player, and he definitely passes the eye test in one of the most visually appealing ways possible. Now, Patrick Mahomes is very familiar with this, except on the football field. With very good arm strength, throwing bombs down the field, wowing people with his accurate passes, including the flashiness similar to Curry, where you see Mahomes utilize sidearms, no-look passes, even underhand throws. Both of these players have really flashy mannerisms when they play the game. In addition to this, they have very similar success. Both players have 2 MVPs and have won multiple championships with the team that they have been on since their career has started. They have been loyal to the team that drafted them, and I know Patrick Mahomes wasn't drafted too long ago, but with the success the Chiefs have and his long contract that he signed, it's clear that he'll be in Kansas City for some good time, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ends his career there. Not to mention, they've been on the most dominant team in a certain era of their sport. Obviously, the Warriors were slightly more dominant, but there's no argument the most dominant NFL franchise since 2019 has been the Kansas City Chiefs. They have both been on a dominating team, and even the little things are comparable within these two players. They look a little bit similar in my opinion, some people might not agree. They both have an addiction to chewing on their mouth guard, and they both even have wives that the majority of fans don't like, to say the least. So really, the combination between their talent, play style, and even the little things just shows what a blaring comparison Patrick Mahomes and Stephen Curry truly are. Another clear-cut comparison is Tom Brady and LeBron James. Now, the reason these two players, in my opinion, are very good comparisons cross-sport is mainly the fact of their insane longevity. Now, even though Brady just recently retired, we can still take a look at how his career went on much longer than it should have. There is no reason that someone that old should be able to command an offense, make accurate ball placement on throws, and yet he continues to prove the doubters wrong. And very similarly can be said about LeBron James. He was drafted all the way back in 2003 and is still playing at an extremely high level 20 years later in 2023. I mean, heck, even last season, people are saying he's slowing down, but in reality, he averaged 28.9 points per game, which at his age is literally unheard of. And it's the 5th highest points per game in his career. Just like Brady, it's really hard to see how LeBron could slow down, especially when he continues playing at this high level. Both James and Brady are considered the GOATs of this era at least, and there are people who do say that Brady and LeBron are the greatest of all time in their sports. So to add to this comparison, you really have 2 GOATs. Not to mention, Brady and LeBron both hold all the main career records at their position. Obviously, Brady has the completion, touchdown, passing yard record, all of that. And meanwhile, LeBron has the scoring record and is quickly approaching the top of the leaderboards in other areas such as assists, rebounds, etc. You also have the similarity that both of them have won championships for multiple teams. Their success was not stuck with only one team. And for each players within 2 years Brady won, they won a ring with their second franchise that they were on. Both players have a commanding play style that isn't necessarily the flashiest, but will always get the job done, and they know how to deliver in killer moments. Obviously, Super Bowl 51 for Tom Brady. And then you have the NBA equivalent, down 3-1 against the 2016 Warriors for LeBron James. And obviously the list of clutch moments extends far beyond this for both players, and you will continue to find similarities in their killer mentality. Brady and LeBron is another very similar comparison. Another very recent and accurate comparison between two players is Jack Jones and John Morant. No, but jokes aside, our next player comparison we have is Cam Newton and Derrick Rose. Now, I have seen some Cam Newton-Russell Westbrook comparisons, as they're two explosive players, both winning an MVP, and both making it to the finals and falling short. However, I just see the Derrick Rose comparison a little more. So as previously mentioned, Cam Newton won an MVP very young, and the same thing applies for Derrick Rose. In their primes, both these players were absolutely explosive and brought a lot to the table. They had a lot of playoff success early on, but they would lose in big moments. For example, Cam Newton, Super Bowl 50, and Derrick Rose in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011 against the Miami Heat. They both had really good starts to their promising young careers, but this is more of a sad comparison as both these players had injuries that would both completely dismantle each other's career. Obviously, Derrick Rose has that heartbreaking ACL tear. His power, agility, explosiveness all suffered greatly from that injury. And even though he continued playing and had some solid seasons following, he would never even approach his prime in Chicago. Cam Newton, on a very similar note, had a rotator cuff tear on his throwing arm, a detrimental injury to throwing quarterbacks. And post-surgery, very similarly, he had some okay years, but overall his career fell quite drastically. And now we even see him without a starting position in the league. That comparison is a little more sad than the rest, but still, as you can see, there are a lot of similarities to draw between Cam Newton and Derrick Rose. The next comparison we have here is Odell Beckham Jr. and Kyrie Irving. Two players that likewise have a very flashy play style. Kyrie has the best handles in the league right now, and Odell Beckham Jr. is the best one-hand catcher in the NFL of this decade. Both players have one ring each, obviously Odell Beckham Jr. winning with the Rams, Kyrie with the Cavaliers, and at the time of winning, they both weren't the star on their team, rather they were a major helping hand. Very similarly, both of these players, when given the title of being the best on their team, they didn't nearly have as much success. For example, Kyrie's run with Boston, where he was the true number one, ended fruitless, and very similarly, Odell Beckham Jr.'s time with the Giants, once Eli Manning was on the decline of his career, nothing happened then either. Both players won Rookie of the Year. And not to mention, these two players have a very good appeal with young fans. Plenty of younger fans look up to Odell Beckham Jr. because of his flashy one-handed catch play style. And similarly, the handles from Kyrie are a reason why a lot of young fans idolize him as well. I mean, it's hard not to idolize someone with handles that insane. I mean, everybody would love to have that handle package. Another similarity between these players is that they both stir up a little bit of drama within the media, teams, etc. They have both their fair share of drama that they've sparked. Also, the fact that these players have been really injured in recent years. They started their career off healthier, but recently it's been tough for them to stay on the field or court. But Odell Beckham Jr. and Kyrie Irving is a very good comparison from both of these leagues. Now, this is more of a defensive comparison, but we have J.J. Watt and Dwight Howard. Both these players' claim to fame is their dominance on the defensive end and the athletic freakiness of both of these players. They both each evenly have 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Both players have the same amount of All-Star appearances and All-Pro Team appearances. Dwight with 8 of each and J.J. Watt with 5 of each. Both of these players came second place in MVP voting, Dwight placing second in the 2010-11 season, and J.J. placing second in the 2014 season. So it's clear that both of these players have very similar defensive identities. Their athleticism is off the charts. But another sad comparison between these two players is the downfall, or rather the slowing down of their careers. They once again both identically suffered back injuries that would slow down their career. Both players would undergo back surgeries. And after all of this, obviously their insane talent would be slowed down, but they would still linger in the league for years to come. They were still a household name, although not the dominant player they once were. So with all that considered, the defensive aspect of these two players, athleticism, similar accolades between the two players, and the back issues, J.J. Watt and Dwight Howard are actually very similar players in their respective sports. The final comparison we have in today's video is Aaron Rodgers and Kevin Durant. Both players are commonly regarded as possibly being the most talented in their sport, but not the greatest. For example, Aaron Rodgers would dominate in any other era if he didn't share his time with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Same thing goes for Kevin Durant. an absolute freak of a talented prospect. He has unlimited talent, and yet LeBron James exists in the same time as him. Two players that should have more success than they already do. They both have struggled to get rings despite their talent, Rodgers only winning one throughout his entire career, and Durant with two, but after many struggle with the Thunder and the fact that he had to join a super team, these two players have a very similar story. Not to mention the similarity that both of these players started their main career in the 2008 season. Kevin Durant was a rookie in the 2007-8 season, and Rodgers finally got the starting position with the Green Bay Packers, even though he was drafted 3 years prior. And they both still play today at a relatively high level. And with all those reasons, that's how Kevin Durant and Aaron Rodgers are also very similar. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy a more different approach where instead of ranking things, we actually look at how two players are very similar. There are still a plethora of NBA and NFL comparisons that I could make, including coaches. So let me know if you want to see another comparison video. Comment that down below, because I do have enough players for there to make a part 2. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support this channel has been getting. You guys are awesome, and I will see you guys in the next Heaps video.